Oh dear. We will call to order the organizational meeting of the City of New Franklin. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Hargit?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Fetterman?
Here.
Mr. Powell?
Present.
Mr. Daniels?
Here.
Mr. Stock?
Here.
All right. First order of business is the election of the council president. Robert's rules permits nominations from the board. No seconds are required. So I will open nominations.
Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes. All right. Well, with that, I've enjoyed the gavel. I will now pass the gavel ceremoniously to President Jones for election of the vice president. And the same protocol applies. No seconds are required. And when nominations are closed, that has to be recited 3 times. Are there any other nominations?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to call for a motion for the election for vice president. Do I have a motion for someone for vice president?
Nomination you're looking for?
Nomination, yes, thank
I'd like
you.
to nominate Jack Daniels.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And Kelly, would you do a roll call?
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Next, we'll go to the council committee assignments. And I have a sheet here that I'd like to read. And if everybody's in agreement with it, can we just go ahead and do one motion then? Would that be okay?
Fine with me. Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Is that okay with everyone?
I don't even know if we need to vote on it.
Sure, there's a motion.
No, we don't need to.
Just
You
assign
can,
it.
all you gotta do is assign them and that's it.
Yeah, you're the one that makes the decision, we don't have to do it.
Then for the safety committee, and I'm assuming the first one is going to be the president. So that would be Terry Hargit, Andy Fetterman, and David Stock. And for streets and drainage, David Stock, Kevin Powell, and Terry Hargit. Public utilities,
Wait, I'm sorry, Judy.
oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Streets and drainage, you have Mr. Stock, Chair, Mr. Powell, and Mr. Hargit. So
Yes.
that's changing from Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Okay?
In public utilities, Kevin Powell would be president, Jack Daniels,
Chair.
Chair, and Jack Daniels, and Terry Hargit. Laws and ordinances would be Andy Fetterman, he would be chair, Jim Cotts, and David Stock. Finance would be Jim Cotts as chair, Jack Daniels, and Kevin Powell. Community development would be Jack Daniels as chair, Jim Cotts, and Andy Fetterman. Is everyone in agreement with this?
Who's the last one? All right. Who was who was the third in the community development?
And you want to use this copy, David?
No, I got it.
And next we'll do the adoption of meeting dates for 2023. Do you want to keep them the same, Joan? The first and the third
Yes.
of each month,
First and third Wednesday.
Wednesday. And that would make our next meeting on January 18th. Then I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting.
Second?
Second with Jack. Will you do a roll call, Kevin?
Mr. Cox?
No.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the New Franklin Council for January 4th. We have no first readings, no second readings, no third readings, no pending legislation. Do any of the committees?
What?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Apologize.
Honey, I do that.
It was a gavel, you know? It was the way of the gavel. It was calling me.
I do that all the time. I get it from myself. Do any of the committees have anything that they want to say? And we'll go right on to the regular scheduled meeting. And we'll do a call to order. And the time is 6:06. And the date is Wednesday, January 4th. And we'll do a pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kelly, would you do a roll call?
Mr. Cox?
Still here.
Mr. Hargit?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Fetterman?
Here.
Mr. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Daniels?
Present.
Mr. Stock?
Here.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on December 21st.
Second.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say something.
Okay, we have 2 seconds, as a matter of fact. Would you do a roll call?
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Does anybody in the audience have any comments at this time? If not, then we go to the mayor's report.
Excellent. I traveled to Washington, D.C. to attend swearing-in ceremonies for our new Congresswoman, Amelia Sykes, and had an opportunity to spend some quality time, FaceTime with her. Her father is also on the state senate, Vernon Sykes, and got to spend some time with him as well. We had good discussions. We have that $3 million, or we're trying to make sure that we have that $3 million sewer. In the transition, that was a predecessor congressperson, so it felt it was important to kind of get a ground floor relationship, and it was valuable, a good meeting. So we talked about what our needs are out here, and she seems to be very responsive to the needs all across Summit County, so I think that's going to be a healthy relationship. We have a liquor transfer request, and this is the procedure whereby we advise the Division of Liquor Control if we are requesting a hearing. I forwarded this out to council and also to police. I did not receive any responses, any adverse responses, so this is a transfer for the liquor license from PLX Deli LLC to Lake Life Deli LLC. And unless someone requests a hearing, I'd be asking for a motion to waive request for hearing on this.
Make a motion to waive.
Second.
I have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Fetterman?
No abstain.
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.
Okay. We got a notice from the Summit County Fiscal Office beginning January 1st. Any residents who want to register a complaint against evaluation of real estate, this is an annual that is open until Friday, March 31st. And if you visit the Summit County Fiscal Office website, the information is pretty easy to follow. We'll probably post something on our website as well. So if you have an issue, a concern as to valuation of your property, your real property, you have until March 31st for that. Speaking of real property, we have, it's come to our attention through some local residents that, and you may have, they may have approached you as well, but I met with Al Greshik from the president of the Kiwanis, and also an individual involved with the Purple Martin Society. There is a barn at the state park. And as you head down towards the boat ramp, there's a hill that goes down, and there's a barn back there. I've ridden past it thousands of times. Didn't really know what it was all about. The Kiwanis have about a 10-year lease to use that property, and they could lease it out and do maintenance and repairs on it. The maintenance and repairs part hasn't happened yet. But meanwhile, there's a number of local organizations that are using it. Purple Martin Society, the Scottish Rite, Portage Lakes Rowers. I'm leaving out a couple of really good ones. I can't recall all of them. In any event, so they're interested in trying to get it pushed together to see what can be done to renovate that a little bit. And lo and behold, I look at the lease, and I was advised by these guys, and that is called the Mason Dairy Barn. And I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but apparently this is the last remaining standing structure from the whole Mason dynasty over there. That at one time was Mason Manor, of course. And as you know, Frank Mason owned all that property, all the state park property. That's who they acquired it from. So I'm telling you this for information purposes. We don't have an ownership interest, but I've met with them, and there's so many Portage Lakes organizations that utilize that I told them we would try to be helpful, not from a financial standpoint, but maybe a circle the wagon standpoint. There's some discussion about trying to get that on the National Register of Historical Places, which seems to make some sense. I think it does mean something, and it sort of fits in. If that could be. They've got estimates for about $50,000 roof and windows and doors that they're going to be trying to raise. But I just think the structure itself, given what's the continuing partnership between New Franklin and the Portage Lake State Park. So I'll keep people advised if there's opportunities there. There may be some fundraising, those kind of things. So I want you to be advised of that. Mason Dairy Barn, didn't know. All right. Lastly, as you were aware, I'm sure that Francis Klopp has passed away. Maybe you didn't know. And the services, in fact, were today. Susan and Diane went out. I was traveling back and couldn't attend, and Susan and Diane went on behalf of the city. I know Judy and her husband were able to attend the funeral as well. Francis served as Franklin Township trustee from 1994 to 2004. And then Gus followed. But Francis, for so many years, was the voice of the West Side. She was a person that they called, and she represented the West Side of the city so well, and with so much dignity and so much class, and continued to stay involved thereafter. I had some requests from some people on the West Side that they thought it would be nice if we had done something. This came up like in November, and internally it was discussed even earlier than that. The possibility of some type of memorial for her. This was during her lifetime, and the discussion centered on perhaps renaming Grill Park in her honor. I had sent that out to the Parks Commission because I think that's where it should start and see what their recommendation is. And I sent that out to them a couple of weeks ago. We're going to be meeting in January, and if they feel it's appropriate, then we'll bring it to council. I certainly didn't dream that she wouldn't be here to appreciate that. And whether it's that or something else, I mean, I think given the contribution of the Kloppus family to the city, that she, of course, was in those transitional years that helped make us a city.
She took a very large role in bringing that whole concept together and helping, get the merger study off the ground.
Right.
All of that.
Yeah. So we'll see how that transpires, and I'll bring that to you. And I thought if you find it appropriate, if maybe we could just observe a moment of silence for Francis. May she rest in peace. Thank you, Francis. That's all I got.
I had a question. The sewer pump station or whatever, So it made it through. I was trying to look online to see if I could get an understanding, because you got that consolidation process happening between the House and the Senate and all that, so it's still there.
To my knowledge, and I'm trying to confirm that. And I wasn't able to get that confirmation.
11,000 page document or something.
Exactly. So I'm waiting for that confirmation. I just don't really want to speculate. I haven't heard that it wasn't. You know, as you know, the Plain Dealer article indicated Senator Portman said he felt the votes were all there to pass it intact. I haven't heard that anything was carved out of there. But we're not going to celebrate until we get confirmation, and I'm having hour to hour on that one, hoping and trusting that will come through. So I'll let everybody know as soon as we know.
Susan? Sorry, Paul, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Just that we are busily working to close the year and open the new year. So we're working on reports and making sure that everything is balanced so that we can close the year and move ahead into 23.
Jack, do you have anything on the comprehensive?
Yeah, there's actually been some good stuff happening, and I made some notes because things are moving along here. We got the survey count back, so we haven't digested the survey data yet. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I'm very happy to say we have over 1,700 respondents. More than 2/3 of them came via paper. So our investment in the paper survey apparently paid off. And I have a theory too, that a lot of people like us at our house, we got the paper, discussed it, and then we all went online and did it, because why waste the postage for the city? And, you know, I don't know if many other people do that or not. But so tomorrow, that by the way is approximately a 30% response rate, which is pretty well in line with what we had back in 2004. So we're real happy with that. Tomorrow there's going to be an online Teams meeting where the survey committee, as well as the people from DataForce and Lauren from Pogmeyer, are going to meet, and we're going to take the first crack at pulling the data from both the paper company, which is DataForce, and then the SurveyMonkey data. And it's going to be let's see how this all fits together. Do the columns work? Does this all make sense? It's probably going to be a bit of a messy process. We will be changing, you know, there's some concern about the flow of the information. We won't be changing any of the original data. DataForce has their version of the original data. SurveyMonkey data is fixed in time. This is the bringing of them together. And we're hoping that goes relatively smooth tomorrow. Then either the 11th or 12th, we've had some meeting date changes, so they're not locked down yet. Either the 11th or the 12th, we're going to have a meeting here where we're going to invite the entire steering committee, and the public is welcome. And that's where we're going to make the first disclosure of the data, how we can query the data, how it can be accessed, because, you know, it's a fixed piece of electronic data that you know, if somebody wants to do some research and study, they can. Then the 19th, I'm pretty sure, so we had a steering committee meeting for the 11th. That's kind of been moved out to the 19th. So 11th or 12th here, then the 19th we're supposed to have an actual full steering committee meeting where we review the data, and Pogmeyer is going to have a little more of, okay, this is, now that you've got this information, this is how we start to move it forward into the comprehensive plan. And that's in preparation for a workshop, a public workshop where the public is welcome, that is either going to be the 23rd or the 26th. So unfortunately, I'm not coming to you with a bunch of good solid dates here yet, but hopefully we can get those dates locked down tomorrow. And publish them. Anybody that's got any interest is more than welcome to reach out to me at any time, or call the city. The city will have the dates available. But
we're very happy. We're real excited about getting to the next step and starting to see some action on this stuff, so.
And do you know what time that'll be? I know you don't know what date, but is it gonna be like an evening?
Yeah, they're usually in the evening. They're usually 5:30 or 6 p.m. And I think the library is, since we moved our dates, I think it screwed up, but having it at the library, so we're probably going to end up having to have them here, which is fine. This is a perfectly good spot for it.
And you'll know tomorrow whether it's gonna be the 11th or the 12th.
I'm
And
pretty.
definitely the 19th.
Yeah, so Lauren from Pogmeyer is kind of like the final. She sends out these surveys to all the steering committee members to try to get as many as possible, and they vote on what date works for them, and then she's the one that actually pushes the button and picks the date between her and Katie. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to have those tomorrow.
And then we'll know when the public workshop is gonna be, maybe by our next meeting, even we can,
Correct. We will know that by the next day. Yeah,
that way we'll be able to talk about it and they can put it in the paper.
yeah, I think it'd be a great idea because we're at that point that people can start getting involved, and so yeah, I think that'd be a great spot for anybody in the community that wants to participate.
Sounds good, thank you.
Any other questions about it, sir? Thank you.
But that was a good response, I thought.
Yeah.
And I wasn't too surprised that it turned out to be paper, quite honestly. I do think it was a good idea to do that.
It worked out.
Pretty well. Is there any old business?
I just want to say again, because I'm a little bit in shock because I didn't realize that Frances had passed away, but she was a very dedicated and kind soul. I had just moved out here in the mid-90s and came to a council meeting. She was sitting or a trustee meeting, excuse me. She was sitting as a trustee, and she understood the system. She understood what was going on out here. She understood the annexation that was happening. That to this day, some people don't believe happened. But if you look at the map, there's a piece of the map that's not there anymore. And she really understood it. She understood the importance of it, and she really contributed a lot to this community that will live on for many years for sure. So.
I agree with you. I think Francis and Gus were two forces to be reckoned with. Because it was Gus that actually got it to Franklin, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Took a lot of flack for that.
A lot.
We had a few problems.
Right.
But I'm telling you, he went right to it, and I think he did that single-handedly,
Bring
if
that
I
up.
remember correctly. Because everybody said, we've got a post office, you can't do it.
Right.
But he did it.
And I think if we think about an honorarium, it would be for both.
Yeah.
Because then he followed the
I
10
think
years
so, too.
on council as well. So
And they were a team no matter what, because where you saw one, you saw the other. I always admired that. Because you don't see that too often, but it really, with them, they were just very good politicians. They were great because they really loved their party, they loved their community, and they gave a lot. But they really did to build. Do we have any new business?
I'd like to mention that tomorrow night at the Kiwanis Center, the Portage Lakes Advisory Council is going to be doing a seminar on ice safety. It starts at 7 p.m. And it's going to be anybody who ventures out on the ice. It's probably a good class to attend. Just going to be rules and safety practices.
And I've seen a lot of ice fishermen. And if you like that, more power to you. I can't imagine my feet would kill me out there. But I've seen a lot of ice fishermen out this year.
Yeah, there was just a short, little, small window. We need more cold. I didn't get to hit that window.
You like to go out, David, and do
Oh, yeah.
that, do you?
That's the best fishing.
Do your boys like it?
Nah, I got friends that do. No, my boys don't now. They didn't go. They did a little bit when they were younger, but not now.
I think that's true. Sometimes we force our kids into doing things that we like, and sometimes they like them, sometimes they don't. Any other
Never
business?
forced them. Just
I didn't mean it that way. Let me rephrase that.
yeah.
Sometimes I forced my son into doing things thinking that he would like them, and it turned out he did not. Sorry.
Doesn't.
Any more new business? And do you want to say where that's going to be?
That's at the Kiwanis Civic Center on Portage Lakes Drive,
And you told us the time, but would you tell us? the time?
7 p.m.
And then the regular meetings are Wednesday evenings
Correct.
at 7,
But the Kiwanis meetings are Wednesdays at 7.
same location? Any other new business? Any public questions? Comments? Yes?
Harry Forsyth, Center Road. I have one for the mayor, about the Mason Barn. If it gets on the National Register of Historic Places, does that put any restrictions on the type of repairs they can do?
No, it does not.
Okay.
We took a look at that.
So they can, like, I don't know what kind of roof they have, but like if they have a slate roof, they can go to metal.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good. And one for, Mr. Daniels. The dates for the public workshops were listed in the letters that went out with the survey. So hopefully they'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it is a very valid point. Thank you for bringing that
I
up.
think the location was too, but I know for sure the dates were.
That's a very
So
valid
it may
point.
be
Thank you.
changed. Really good point, Jerry.
So a lot of publicity about the change if that happens.
Those might not have changed. My notes could be, I've been pretty busy the last week with the snowstorm and the holidays and all that stuff, so I did a little scratching down, and that workshop might not have changed. It might just be our meetings before the workshop have changed. So I have the 23rd and 26th. One of those might be the actual date. So my apologies if I missed a little bit, but thanks for pointing that out.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments? Oh, we have a reason for an executive session.
We do not.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
We have a first and a second, Kelly.
Mr. Cox?
No.
Mr. Hargit? Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Peppermint?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
We all vote no and just stay here all night.
Our next meeting is January 18th.
Is that gavel?
And I want to say thank you to all you gentlemen for being